Joining me now is Texas Congressman Colin Allred, who is currently running for the Democratic nomination for Senate to unseat Senator Ted Cruz next year. Congressman, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's your assessment of what's happening right now with Ken Paxton? Do you see this as a sign of hope? What kind of credit do you give the GOP in Texas?
Well, this is Republican-led. As you said, it's going to be decided in many ways by Republicans. But I think the Texans are tired of being embarrassed by so many of our elected officials. And that goes for Ken Paxton. And it's also true about Ted Cruz. And that's what I think most folks around the country might not understand about our state, is that I think we're tired of this. We're tired of this reputation. We're tired of people who aren't doing the job that they're elected to do, who are pursuing their own agendas. And so I do think there's some hope to take from the fact that the Texas House, which is Republican-dominated, voted for this overwhelmingly. I don't know what's going to happen in the trial.
Yeah.
But I know that folks like Ted Cruz and Ken Paxton are all about themselves and they're an embarrassment to our state.
Well, I was kind of shocked that Ted Cruz is out on a limb defending Paxton, given the fact that Republicans in the state are so clearly against him and the fraud seems so clear. Then again, you have someone like George Soros, who remains in the House because Kevin McCarthy needs his vote. And I wonder, is it the fraud that they really take issue with, in a way that they will excuse the other outlandish things that members of their own party get away with? I mean, was that the tipping point for this?
Well, for Ted Cruz, all that matters is which side are you on the culture war?
Yeah.
Where are you on that? Are you on our side or are you on the other side? If you're on our side, then there's no conduct that's unbecoming, no conduct that goes too far. And to me, this is the issue we have in our politics right now.
Yeah.
Is that there's no accountability. I come from a background where I played in the NFL, and where accountability is that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
There's games going on right now. Tomorrow they're going to watch the film, they're going to correct the mistakes, and you have to get that corrected or you're going to lose your job. And that's what we have to do in our politics now. In Texas, we have to have folks like this who are an embarrassment to our state, who aren't doing the job. They have to be voted out.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do with Ted Cruz.
Okay. And we're going to talk about Ted Cruz in 1 second, but I do want to talk about other things that are happening in your state that are distressing. In the wake of the Dobbs decision, we know that Texas has had a very, very hardline position on reproductive freedoms. Texas towns and cities on the Texas border with Mexico or on state borders are now outlawing driving through them for the purpose of obtaining an abortion. There are women who now have to travel to Mexico to get reproductive health care. Does this have any repercussions at the ballot box?
Yeah.
I mean, how is this being abided by the citizens of Texas?
Yeah. Well, does this sound like freedom to anybody?
No.
What are we going to do next? We're going to start boarding planes and trains and buses and asking women, what's the nature of your travel, ma'am? Yeah. I mean, where is this going? It's so unbelievable. And it's a tragedy what's happening in our state. Every single day, there are lawyers, not doctors, determining whether or not a woman is sick enough to have a pregnancy terminated. They're victims of rape and incest with nowhere to go. And it's a tragedy for our state. But we don't have to put up with it. We can codify Roe v. Wade at the federal level. I voted to do that in the House of Representatives. When I'm in the Senate, we will do that. And we can vote out folks like Ted Cruz who want to take this nationwide and want to have a nationwide ban on abortion and to inspect your travel. So if folks out there think that that's not who we are as Americans or Texans, I ask them, go to colinallred.com, get involved with us.
Well, yeah, and we know that they're, with Tommy Tuberville's hold in the Senate, they're very much interested in policing where women go to get their health care. I will also say I meant George Santos, not George Soros, because George Soros is obviously not a Republican congressman who has been reported to be very fraudulent in his activities. Ted Cruz, do we have time to play this fascinating portrait of Ted Cruz's culture war against? Yes, let's play the beer stunt ad or sound, please.
And now these idiots have come out and said, drink 2 beers a week. That's their guideline. Well, I got to tell you, if they want us to drink 2 beers a week, frankly, they can kiss my ass.
Okay, so the USDA, an official of the USDA, suggested at one point that America may someday adopt guidelines that suggest people drink no more than 2 beers a week, and that is Ted Cruz's response. You obviously have some thoughts about Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
What is on display there when you see Ted Cruz do whatever that is?
He's playing Texas. He thinks that's what Texas is. He's a fake Texan in a lot of ways. He's an Ivy League trained lawyer. He knows what he's talking about. He knows that there's no requirement coming down the pipe for that. But he's pretending, and he's trying to appeal to the culture war. That's the only thing he has to offer. He doesn't vote for the infrastructure bill that's bringing $35 billion to our state over 5 years, or the Chips and Science Act that's bringing high-tech manufacturing to Texas. He doesn't vote after the shooting in Uvalde for the Safer Communities Act, which is the first time in 30 years we've done anything on gun violence that John Cornyn helped lead. This is what he has to offer.
Yeah.
It's culture war and stunts. And Texans are embarrassed, and they're tired of it, and that's why we're going to get rid of him.
I would also say I think he likes pretending to be like super macho and like swill a beer, but that's just my layman's.
His opponent's going to be a former NFL linebacker, so you can try that. So,
so good luck. Texas Congressman Colin Allred, thanks for joining me. Please don't try and, ram me when this is over. That is our show for this evening.